I wanted to ask you because I was reading that you've got a degree in anthropology and a master's in education. Do I have that right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
And I wanted to ask you about that background. And of course, you're teaching social studies for a day job. And I want to know because it's a little bit off the beaten path from I've got a degree in literature and creative writing, very plain Jane. A lot of the writers I know have gone on to get very expensive MFA degrees in writing. And what I find is with those MFA programs, a lot of times is for the first 5 years. Those writers are producing books about other books because that's what they've been studying nonstop for 6, 8 years, however long it took to complete the program. So, how do you feel that having such a diverse background in subjects beyond mere literature, how has that impacted your writing? What does that bring to your books?
Great question, and something I am passionate about. I think all authors, in fact, all artists, and not just literary, but all art forms, need to be students of the world. And the more you know about this world we live in, the history of it, the different cultures, languages, the economic situations, government, current events, past events, the more you know about stuff like that, the more real it makes your art. Even if it's just subconsciously, you're going to bring extra depth to whatever you create, the more you know. And my degree in anthropology really was a direct step or outcome of falling in love with the Lord of the Rings trilogy when I was, 10 or 11 years old. And Tolkien got me fascinated by history and world cultures. And world cultures in that book and history got me interested in anthropology. I grew up in New Mexico, and so my degree is in Southwest anthropology, which led me to be even more interested in other world cultures, which led me to start studying mythologies from other cultures, which led me to teach social studies. I retired 4 years ago, so I don't teach anymore. But teaching social studies led me to start writing fantasy adventure books for boys. So, it's a lovely circle, and nothing is ever wasted. Anything you learn in life you will use somewhere else. You just never know where. I've recently learned how to uh, restucco the outside of my house and do some minor plumbing, and I love that. And somewhere it's going to show up in a book. I don't know where, but it's like you and I were talking the other day on your middle grade ninja site. We were talking about that famous quote from Michelangelo that I think it was age 87. He said, "I am still learning." I love that phrase. I don't want to stop learning. I don't want to stop trying new things, like doing these live, interviews. Really tough for an introvert like me. But every time you push yourself outside of that comfort zone, you grow a little, you learn a little, and it all comes back into your art.
So when you look back on your artist journey up to this point, which we know obviously is going to be continuing for some time, 13 books is soon going to become 26 books. I'm counting on it, and come back here and talk about every one of them every time one comes out. But as you look back, do you see sort of a clear path that this didn't make sense to me then, but this led to this, which led me here, or is it just sort of a scattered um, set of events that have made you the person that you are?
That's interesting. My husband and I always joke that life is never a straight line, that it meanders all over the place. But you're right. Looking back, um, you'll see events that happened that needed to happen sequentially to get a person to where they are. But that's the fun part of looking back in life is you can say, I see now the threads that came together to make this happen. But when you're in the middle of it, it all just seems like a mishmash. When you get to be my age, you start realizing to trust the things turn out the way they're supposed to turn out. And I never dreamed of being a writer. I never wrote a thing until I turned 50 years old. I mean, writing was hard. Who would want to be a writer? I tried to take classes in college that I didn't have to write. Um, but, there's an old saying that you read and you read and you read, gorging yourself on the written word, and then one day you vomit up your own book. And I think that's what happened with me.
You were avoiding reading or not reading, writing at a young age. So what was it that changed for you that flipped and said, okay, I'm going to do 30 drafts and stick with this?
Well, I always read as a kid. I was a voracious reader. There's a famous author, Pam Allen, who said, reading is breathing in, writing is breathing out. And I've always thought that was really true. I just inhaled for a really long time. Yeah, I do live in Colorado. But it was really funny. Okay, I'll just come out. I don't tell a lot of people this. I got interested in writing because I started writing fan fiction. Ready for it?
Oh yes, this is the kind of rare details you can only get here at Middle Grade Ninja TV. Continue.
That's right. I started writing fan fiction for Foyle's War, and Foyle's War was a BBC mystery set during World War II in Great Britain. And I love the series. And just for grins, I wrote a couple of fan fiction pieces and posted them on some fan site, thinking, okay, that was fun, and then I'll go on with my life. But I got a pretty good response on it. And I thought, this writing business, this is kind of fun. I wonder if I could write my own book. Yeah, because I don't live in New York City, and you know, I'm not, you know, you have to be a famous person to be a writer. But I thought, so I started reading a little bit about authors, and I realized they lived all over the world, and so I thought maybe I could write my own book.